Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Anarchy and immigration law. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. At least 110 American cities and counties are currently refusing to obey the federal government when it comes to enforcing immigration law. 110. That, of course, leads to chaos, and chaos leads to violence. This month, 32-year-old Kate Steinle murdered in San Francisco by a criminal alien who had been deported 5 times. As you may know, we have called for new legislation called Kate's Law, which would mandate any convicted aggravated felon who comes back to the USA after being deported would receive at least 5 years in a federal penitentiary. No wiggle room. Today on Capitol Hill, the Senate Judiciary Committee held hearings on criminal alien violence.
My son's name was Joshua Wilkerson. On November 16, 2010, he was beaten, strangled, tortured until he died. He was tied up, thrown in a field, and set on fire. His killer, Hermilo Morales, was brought here illegally by his illegal parents when he was 10 years old, so he fit the dream kid description.
Unfortunately, due to disjointed laws and basic incompetence on many levels, the U.S. has suffered a self-inflicted wound in the murder of our daughter by the hand of a person that should have never been on the streets of this country.
And that is the heart of this matter, harshly punishing illegal alien felons who return here after being deported. Who could oppose that? Well, maybe Dick Durbin, senator from Illinois.
So the suggestion that we make a mandatory minimum 5-year sentence for people who have been deported and come back across the border with, let's say, with no criminal history and no other history from the government's point of view, that seems to me to be an invitation for a lot of prosecutions.
Simply disgraceful. Durbin knows Kate's Law calls for the incarceration of felons, not chambermaids. He knows that, but attempts to distort Kate's Law by misdefining it. Why? Because Durbin and others like him do not care if convicted felons violate our immigration laws and kill people. That man does not care. But there was some outrage in the Senate hearing today.
There is a reason the American people are upset. If President Obama had the courage of his convictions, he would come and look in the eyes of these men and women who've lost their sons, their daughters, their mothers, their sisters, their brothers, and the administration would stop releasing murderers and rapists.
Now, there comes a time when the American people must demand Congress and the president do the right thing. Kate's Law is the right thing. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction joining us from Washington, Kate Steinle's father, Jim, and her brother, Brad. Mrs. Steinle, we'll begin with you. What did you think of the hearing today overall?
I think it was productive. I liked what I heard on some sides and some not. That's just the beginning of this particular legislation. We had meetings early before we met with the committee and with senators on both sides of the aisle. And I have a sneaking suspicion that there is something going to happen. There has to be some definitions between what's a felon and what what you need to do to get to be a felon.
Yeah, I mean, and we had Senator Grassley, the chair, on yesterday, and he said aggravated felon. I think that's the way to go here. But did you hear anyone say anything to you among the senators that upset you, Mr. Steinle?
Not in this particular session, no. I didn't hear anything that upset me.
You heard Dick Durbin basically misdefine Kate's Law. He did it on purpose. He knows what it is. And he did it to obscure the real issue, hoping that, Kate's Law will not be passed. See, now that bothers me, and as the father of Kate herself, I would like to get your opinion on Mr. Durbin.
Well, you'll have to excuse me, Bill. We left the chamber after we had testified.
Okay, you didn't hear him. Okay.
I did not hear him.
All
so
right. Well, you heard him here, and Brad, I'm going to throw it over to you. There is an element in this country who's not sympathetic to the murder of your sister. I mean, they say they are, but they won't take any steps to prevent another Kate from being murdered. How do you see those people?
Well, the clip I just saw from the senator that spoke, I think it's very plain and clear to see that a Cates law that deals with felons that have committed crimes, anything from rape to murder, committed any type of assault, and if they're felons, we should definitely make sure that they are either detained or sent out of the country so nothing like this happens again. There's no question about it. It's black and white. There's no reason these people should be on the streets.
That's right. And the man who killed your sister was a drug dealer. He sold hard drugs. And that is under the banner of aggravated felon as well, and should be, because these drug gangs are causing havoc all over the country. Mr. Steinle, I can't imagine how painful this whole thing is. You know, I know there are families who don't want to go through this. You've taken it upon yourself, and Kate's mother as well. Can you tell us, you know, emotionally how this has affected you?
Well, it's indescribable. There's no words. I've felt sorry for the many people that come up to me, and you'd see them struggle for a word to say. There just are no words until you've experienced it. But our faith has kept us strong, and we believe we have a Kate on our shoulder. And we think the other things are in play here. We haven't gotten our arms around them yet, but I think this is just the beginning and not the end.
No, so do I agree.
If we can get this Kate's law passed, and I testify to that today, if we save one son, one daughter, one mother, one father, one sister, one brother, then Kate's death is not all in vain.
Yes, and I agree, and that's what we're all working toward. And we're going to come down very hard on people who don't get on the right side of this issue, because again, there's no excuse. We're talking to aggravated felons who are deported and come back. They have no right to walk around and do anything in this country. Gentlemen, we really appreciate it. You guys are patriots. You're heroes. We'll get this done, and if there's anything your family needs, please let me know. Thanks again.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Footnotes. More than 600,000 of you have signed our petition asking Congress to pass Kate's law. We thank you all. You're all patriots. We've delivered the petition. Also, we asked all the presidential contenders whether they support the proposed legislation of Kate's law. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders ignored our question. It was disrespectful. They made a big mistake in doing that. Those supporting Kate's law are Jeb Bush, Donald Trump, Rick Perry, Bobby Jindal, George Pataki, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Ben Carson, Marco Rubio, and Scott Walker. Mike Huckabee wants to concentrate on deportations. Chris Christie wants more information. Rand Paul would not commit to supporting the legislation, nor would John Kasich, who just got into the race today.